Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. So as you guys know, we're doing the comment question of the day, and today's comment question of the day is from 3012, and he asks, what do you think about the pro mentality? So that's what we'll be talking about in this video. We're going to play some twos today, and I'll see you all in the first game. Alright, so, you know, this question wasn't really all too specific, which I kind of like, because it means that I can kind of go on different tangents, stuff like that. By the way, this is also my SSL game for 2v2, so if we win this, I'll get SSL back, but that's not really too important. But yeah, I think in general, like a lot of people, especially like with, I don't know, kind of how society is nowadays, I feel like greatness isn't really something that's, you know, seen as a good thing a lot of the time. And, you know, what I mean by that is that society nowadays is telling people that it's okay to you know, not be great. It's okay to be fat. It's okay to be overweight. You know, it's okay if you don't want to get a job and stuff like that, you know. And so if you talk to any pro player, anybody who's like great in their own profession, right? Anybody who's a skilled athlete or a skilled artist, or, you know, even a content creator, they're not going to tell you that someone told them that it was okay to be just all right at their profession, and then they said, all right, yeah, I'll just be okay. If you want to be great at anything, especially something like Rocket League or some profession or skill, you need to put thousands and thousands of hours of your life into that skill. You can't just be all right with doing what everybody else is doing, because everybody else isn't exceptional. So it's the same thing with pro players. You know, pro players will spend hundreds of thousands of hours in the game, in free play, going over replays, and basically just doing everything that they possibly can. That was a crazy shot. But they basically just do everything that they possibly can to get better at the game. And, you know, almost all pro players have the same, you know, aspects, or I guess personality traits, where none of them are agreeable. And by that I mean, like, you know, if a pro player has like a diamond asking them if they can try out for their team, pro player's gonna say no. You know, they're not gonna do something just, you know, because it would be like a nice thing to do. At the end of the day, they're valuing their own career, you know, and they're valuing their own time very highly. And as such, that can mean a lot of people to think like, oh man, you have an ego. But to be honest, an ego isn't always a bad thing. You know, I hear it talked about a lot as if it's like the worst thing that could possibly happen to you in the world. Like, oh my god, you're getting an ego. But to be honest, I think an ego is necessary. You know, like I said at the beginning of this video, you know, if you don't have an ego and you're okay with just being average, right? Maybe that's fine for you, but if you have a goal of being great and being, you know, exceptional at something, but at the same time you're okay with being average, you're never gonna hit that goal. You're never gonna realize that that vision, because you're gonna hit a roadblock and you're gonna be like, oh, you know what? Actually, people tell me it's okay that I can be average, so then you'll just stop. You'll stop grinding and you know, you just won't hit that goal. However, if you have a really, really big like self-image of yourself and a really, really big ego, then you're not gonna stop grinding, because you're gonna think, you know what? I need to do this. You know, I think way too highly of myself to not do this. I think way too highly of myself to not work out. I think too highly of myself to allow myself to be fat. You know, it's things like that only people with egos will realize is a problem and try to fix. You know, and only people with egos want to be the best in their field. So every pro player, you have to have an ego, like by necessity. Otherwise, you're never gonna get to the level that you need to get to. And, you know, I think that's something that a lot of people nowadays will like shun. And don't get me wrong, like, you know, if you just want to be a Buddhist monk and, you know, renounce all worldly possessions and just, you know, just kind of live a life of, what's it called? You know, when you have nothing, no possessions, no anything, that's fine. You know, you can do that, but you're not going to be great. Nobody's going to, you know, I mean, you'll have family that will remember you maybe couple generations down the line, but then, you know, that's it. And if that's what you would consider a good life, then by all means live like that. Nobody's telling you you have to, but at the same time, if you want to be a Michael Jackson, if you want to be, a Barack Obama, if you want to be somebody who's going to be remembered for years and years and years, you're going to have to get an ego. You're going to have to make something of yourself. And there's going to have to be sacrifices that are going to be made, you know, whether it's your time or, you know, some relationships, or whether you need to, you know, just, I don't really know, but it's mostly just whether or not you want it, you can achieve it. Is that in? Nice. We can still come back here, actually. But yeah, I mean, you know, even in my own life, right? I'm a student full-time right now. I make YouTube videos every single day. I edit my own videos. I obviously record all my own videos. And even I'll stream as well when I can. And then I also make a TikTok / YouTube short / Instagram reel every day. And, you know, it's a lot of time. And then I also hit the gym 5 times a week. And, you know, I try my best to get straight A's. Sometimes, you know, obviously sometimes the material's just a bit, you know. But all that being said, right? Sacrifices have been made in my life. I don't go out drinking. I don't, you know, go get absolutely hammered on the weekends. You know, I'm not getting back home from school and then just immediately lighting up a fat stogie and watching cartoons with the boys. I mean, don't get me wrong, that sounds like a great time. And, you know, if you want to live like that, I'm not going to tell you you can't. Right? I'm not really going to judge you for it. It's your life. You can make your own decisions. And you'll just have to live with that. But for me and for anybody who's trying to be great, you know, I'm pretty sure Jeff Bezos wasn't, you know, like I said, just slacking off and doing nothing. You know, he didn't just put in 8 hours of work a day and he was like, all right, yeah, that's good. You know, so the point I'm trying to get to, and, you know, I'm kind of repeating myself here, but if you want to be great, you have to outwork everybody else. You have to, you know, obviously there's some people who have success and wealth and they're, you know, they just got it like inherited. You know, if you were born rich, no, you don't really have to work that hard to make money and to be someone famous, right? But almost every single person you know that's famous has grinded their behind off. I can't say but, you know, the other word, but almost everybody you know that's famous has worked. You know, even me, like I'm saying, like I have put my entire life into this for the past 2 years, you know, and granted, I mean, you know, I can't really say I'm sacrificing too much because I don't really like partying anyways. I don't really like the whole drinking scene, the whole hookup culture and stuff like that. That's, you know, people my age are infatuated with, but, you know, so I guess you could say I haven't sacrificed too much, but I definitely have sacrificed, you know, living a normal life as a student in college. But I wouldn't have it any other way. And basically, you know, one movie I watched that was actually a really good like film that kind of spoke to this whole idea of like an image of greatness is Whiplash. If you guys don't know Whiplash, it's basically the story of a drummer who is at the top academy in New York City, and he gets called up to, you know, the next, I think it's an orchestra. Someone's gonna correct me if I'm wrong, but he gets called up to an orchestra, and this orchestra has a famously like tough instructor, or well, whatever the name is for it in music, right? But he's very, very hard on his band, and it yields great results. But the reason I love this movie so much is because it teaches a lot about that kind of mentality, you know? I shouldn't have hit that way, but that's fine. I'll flick it over. It teaches a lot about that mentality, you know? The main character, he starts drumming, and, you know, his drumming is going good, but it's not going fantastic. You know, he's keeping up, he's practicing every day, but the instructor's still extremely, extremely hard on him. You know, and you know, eventually this guy, the main character, gets a girlfriend, and they really hit it off. They go on a couple, how is that a flip reset? They go on a couple dates, and, you know, his practice for the drums is, you know, it's still going okay, but it's not going fantastic, right? And after a while, he sits his girlfriend down. He's like, hey, we can't be together anymore. Every time I see you, I'm going to be thinking about drumming. And then you're going to tell me to ease off of the drumming, but I won't be able to do that. and you know, I'm gonna start to resent you for even wanting me to do that. And basically, he basically just breaks up with his girlfriend so he has more time to spend on his dream. And I mean, that is an extreme example, but that is the epitome of somebody who will do anything to make their dream a reality, right? And I'm not saying that I relate to this guy hardcore, because I don't know, I think it's a little cringe to say, oh, if I had a girlfriend, I would break up with her to play Rocket League. But I mean, genuinely, like, I will do whatever it takes, you know. And I mean, I guess I haven't been doing enough. Like, to be honest, I probably could have been doing more. You know, with my current scenario, like, I could definitely be spending less hours on, you know, like TikTok and YouTube and watching Netflix and stuff like that. And if I really, really put 110% of my brain power into it, I'd probably be at 1 million subs right now. But I haven't been able to get myself to do that. So, you know, I don't think I'm great yet. You know, and one of my favorite, like, conversations from that movie was, it was the guy at a dinner table, and they were talking to, they were just like, it was a family, you know, they were talking, and the family was like celebrating the accomplishments of like one of the older brothers who was a football player at a D3 high school. And, you know, the main character got kind of frustrated because he was literally like doing so well in this top orchestra, and they were kind of just brushing off his achievements. And basically at one point they were like, you got a lot of friends, Andrew? Because Andrew's the main character. And he was like, nope, never really saw the need for him. And, you know, they were like, well, they'll remember you when you're gone. And he's like, well, how many of you guys remember, like, they didn't say Michael Jackson, but, you know, just for an example, how many of you guys remember Michael Jackson? And obviously they all did. And he's like, I would rather die drunk, broke, and at 35 years old and be regarded as the greatest musician to ever live than I would sober at 90 with nobody to remember me. And that hit me, you know. I can't say that I don't agree. I mean, it's a weird thing, and like, I know I have a very young audience, relatively speaking. I think most of you guys are at least teenagers, but I mean, I'm 20 years old, okay? First of all, let's get that out of the way, because people think I'm like 30, right? But, you know, that quote just resonated with me. I would rather put absolutely everything into my career, be remembered for years and years and decades to come, than I would just live a normal life. You know, go to a 9-to-5 every day, just hate my job, go home, watch TV and drink beer, and then just repeat for like 30 years until I can retire. I can't quite explain why, but I know that that's not the life for me. And, you know, right now I'm kind of just doing everything I can to not have to do that. Like I said, I think, you know, some people can live that way, and if you can do that, then that's great. You know, the world obviously needs a bunch of people like that, but for me, that's not how I'm gonna go out.